Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's been a while since I made a video. Usually I like to, hold on to books forever, and then they just keep stacking up, and then I'll eventually get off my lazy ass and try to put a video together. And just when you thought these 3D covers were over, or you've seen the last one in the video, nope. And I just really had to make a video because I just want to put these away. But my local shop had these things, and they had a list. You can just mark off what you wanted. I got them a week late, so I ended up getting, all in all, 35 out of the 52. And for cover price, of course, Joker's Daughter wasn't one of them. And to be honest with you, I don't even understand why everyone's wetting themselves over Joker's Daughter anyhow. She's hot, yeah. I mean, I just don't know how the character is really enticing people to go out and buy books, or she's just a hot character, I guess. I don't know. The Harlequin book was one of the best ones in terms of content. And so yeah, I got 35 out of the 52. I'll try to get a complete set just because I'm like that, a completist. So, there's $140 of my hard-earned money. And I was talking to the guy that excuse me, the guy that owns the shop, and I read all of them, maybe with the exception of one or two. But that being said, I DC. What this is supposed to be? Don't really collect any DC books, but this is supposed to be Villains Month, if I understand it correctly, and the objective from DC was to tie it into Forever Evil. And these are one-shots, and the cover price is $3.99, which I think is more. Aren't DC books $2.99 usually? And Marvels are the $3.99. But I only pick up one Marvel book and I'll pull this anyhow. I think that one's superior. That's $3.99. But we were talking, and I brought up that if these are supposed to be one shots and you're promoting a Villains Month, try to at least come up with content that supports your overall goal, which is to not only present the villain, like the Riddler here, but also his tie-in into Forever Evil. And a majority of these books, I'm sad to report, fail miserably. For example, Scarecrow. I only know Scarecrow because I don't collect. Never collected his backstory, and I'm sure I could wiki it or whatever, and then I'd learn more about it. But if your objective is to teach, or not teach, but present Scarecrow as a Villains Month, he gets his own book. Put some backstory into the thing. Tell me about Scarecrow. How did Scarecrow come about? I shouldn't. If you're going to do this as a one-shot, I shouldn't have that knowledge pre-programmed. You need to present it, and then how he ties into Forever Evil. I mean, right? Or if you're constrained by the material, or the writers didn't want to do that, it's 52 books, it's new 52. Make it 52 pages and include the backstory. And give us, try to convert readers, such as myself, who doesn't really read any DC books. Exceed expectations. Don't make it seem like it's a money grab, which, as far as I can tell, that's all this is. It's one big money grab, and everyone's going to want the covers. I want a complete set. No, I want 2 complete sets. Oh, I gotta get Joker's Daughter. Oh my God. Please excuse my little rant there, but I digress. In that I shot that a while ago, and I still feel the same way about those things. It's supposed to be Villains Month, not 3D cover month. And, it's my own fault for getting hooked into the hype and wanting to be a part of something that I shouldn't have. I should have used that money and bought maybe a single back issue that I really like to add to the collection. But Some of them were pretty good. Don't get me wrong; they weren't all bad in terms of content. Sinestro was a good deal, a good read, and Earth's 2 books were good, but they weren't all horrible. I just was maybe wanting more, and you know, I'll learn from just running after the hype from now on, because I went after those things like a big mouth mass does to a MEPS number 2 minute, as they say. And I got burned, I think. But I don't know, they're cool to have. All right, anyway, happy holidays, everyone. On to a haul. I haven't shot a video in quite some time, and what the hell? Let's get into it. Hope everyone's enjoying their season. Last few days of work, right? Anywho, I'll be showing off some stuff. I've been sitting on books for almost 2 months since I made a video, so yep, still shaky as ever. So I hope you can bear with me in my camera usage ineptitude. My shop has, I guess 2 or 3 Saturdays ago, they had a small business appreciation day, and I rolled up just to get my pull list. And outside they had a bunch of long boxes open up with a sign that said, "Take 10 free with the purchase." So I got my pull list, and I don't know, I picked these up. I'm loving some Warriors of Plasm. Jim Shooter doing his thing at Defiant. Holy glare monster. Hold, please. So anyway, there's some interesting stuff I picked up for free. Anytime you can pick up anything for free, what the hell? And for some reason I'm drawn to this series. And anytime I can pick up some of this Harris Vampirella stuff, I will. There's a Vengeance of 15, 19, and 4. I was drawn to this cover. This is an image series I never heard of. Dooms 4-2. This that turns out to be a variant cover, and the silver Exo Manowar 0 to go along with the gold one, and the pick of the box for free is, excuse me, Tandy Computer Whiz Kids. These are Radio Shack PSAs done by Archie Comics. This is Whiz Kids, drug awareness, kind of a PSA issue. Howard Bender and Mike Esposito. It's Archie Comics, and these actually turns out grade to $10. I don't know if you'd ever get that for this, but anyway, the cover kind of just struck me, and who doesn't remember a Tandy, was it TRS 80? So had to get that. All right, now on to some dollar bin stuff I found. I'm really happy with my shop, local shop here. They have been putting out more and more long boxes by the register area, so everything's for $1, and there's about 10 long boxes full of all kinds of stuff. It's been cherry picked. The guy just said yesterday that there's 2 whole Preacher series that were gone, that have gone through it, and I really wasn't paying attention. When I was going to cash out with whatever I wanted, my pull list or anything else, I only really looked in one box and kind of flipped through, and before you knew it, I found 3 or 4 issues here and there that while I was waiting in line. They're always pretty busy for some reason. But anyway, highlights of the dollar bin over the past 2 months. Secret Wars 2. I had both of these series previously, and I want to get both of them, so I am building them back. Bud Root, anything with Bud Root. This is the Tigress with Mike Hoffman. This is Basement Comics. love Budroot. Before You Laugh, New Adventures of Superboy. One reason I got that, and Gil Kane cover. I'm currently slurping Gil Kane as much as I can. He's becoming one of my favorites, so anything Gil Kane I'll get. There's a Crisis along with Secret Wars, Crisis 10. I want to get that. This is interesting. This is a American Cancer Society one-shot. Spider-Man, Storm, and Power Man battle smokescreen. Don't smoke cigarettes, kids. This is from 1980. I can't find any info on it whatsoever. There's no indica or sativa, but I'll find it. It's not in the guide either. This was good to find, I think. A little Alan Moore action. Volume 1 of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Clint, I think 5 is there. I have to go back, and then as soon as I go back, I'll look for 5 and see if that ad is in there. Matt Wagner, there you are. Grendel, black and white, kind of a one-shotty thing. Wasn't that impressed. I know everyone goes crazy for Grendel, but here you go. This was awesome. Star-Lord Special Edition, number 1. This is a reprint of Marvel Preview 14. It has all of that, and then there's an extra added story. So it reprints the 14, and then you get, I think, an extra story by Michael Golden. Let's see. Pitt and let's put these together because they're equally forgettable in my estimation. I just wanted to have the ones. Nothing there to really induce me to getting any more of those issues. Second printing of first appearance of the Iron Spider armor. It's $5.29. Hey, $4. We've just said second printing is good. Along with this, this is a third printing of the variant 583, the Barack issue. Awesome condition Black Panther 15. These last 2 issues, it's 14 and 15 or 15 and 16. Correct me. But anyway, feature the Avengers. Great pickup for $1. Along with this, New Teen Titans 24, just an iconic Perez cover. All day long. And Freedom Fighters, a bunch of Freedom Fighters. Well, not a bunch, but there's 2. Excuse me, 3. First appearance of Scrag, not Ricky Skaggs, that's a Scrag. And 14. These are great issues for $1 and in great shape. They're fine, fine plus, maybe approaching very fine. And here's a Wonder Woman crossover, number 5. Rich Buckler. Ramona Fredone's on these. So, I mean, for $1, hell yeah. And what else for $1? I have never gotten this series. And I'll be honest with you, kind of admitting how ridiculous I can be. I really don't like the covers. And I've heard a lot about the Sandman. What's the Sandman? Was the original Volume 1? Was that Ditko? I don't know. This is Volume 2, right? I mean, Neil Gaiman. And anyway, I wanted to get them. They were in a dollar bin. They're in awesome condition. There's a 15, 16, and issue 50. And I just opened these up to skim read them, and these two more of a skim than that, the 50. I was blown away. These, I didn't want, I started looking at it just to see what it was all about, and let's just suffice it to say I'm going to want to get not only the individual issues, I'm actually considering getting the trade. This is the only trade I own here, Lock and Key 1. I got it from a library sale, 50 cents, and I loved it. would have been cooler if someone like writes into the artwork, but I don't know, I like it. So that's the only trade I collect. And after, I want to get it for this. I'll just put it that way. Here is 50, the Ramadan issue, and it's a PK Gressel interior, and this is amazing. This is an amazing issue. I even to say I half read, but it's more of a more in-depth page to page kind of skim reading, and it is literally a magic carpet ride. Amazing content. So yeah, Sandman, if you could pick them up for $1, I don't know, are they not key enough issues? I mean, they're good comic books, whatever. They're not key issues, I was just saying. There are other books out there other than key issues. Here's 4 and 5 of Devil Dinosaur. Awesome finds in the dollar bin. Alrighty. On to some variants I picked up from my shop. They have a pretty good deal. My shop has, this is, whoa. Superior Foes 1. This is a San Diego version. Where the amount of money I spend goes into store credit. So essentially what I'll do is I'll go through and pick out the variants that interest me and store them in my folder, and as I accumulate store credit, use that credit towards picking them up. So essentially I don't pay for the variants I like. I have a problem with their price points. At first I was really anti-variant, but it's just extra spice on your steak, I guess. A sizzle steak, whatever analogy. I like them, so I'm going to continue to pick them up. And you know, Sleepy Reader had a good point. He said, be careful. I forget, I was commenting on one of his videos. He said, be careful of false collectibles. I'm more of a collector than I am a reader, although it doesn't mean I have the skill set to enjoy a good yarn, if you will, or enjoy artwork. And just because I like to collect, I still have an active pull list and fully capable of understanding the finer qualities of literature as well as comic books. So if they're false collectibles, I don't know. People like collecting them. You can see how long I've been holding on to these books. It's Age of Ultron 1, the Scotty Young variant. Time will tell. I just think they're interesting additions to my collection. I'll leave it at that and just show you what I've picked up. Thanos Rising, Mike Deodato. Awesome. Number 4. It's a sick cover. If you grew up in the 80s like I did, I'm trying to deal with this glare, and I'm sorry for the camera. I'll edit this out to reduce the shake, whatever. This 8-bit Superior Foes number 1, the 8-bit villain cover. You have to get this. That is awesome. Here's an interesting one. Where is that glare coming? Chris Giarusso. Who also did an interesting Walking Dead number 1 variant. This is Morning Glories 23. Kind of reminds you of Scotty Young, huh? But he did that the Walking Dead, excuse me, number 1 variant, indigestion hitting, and so this is one of the more desirable Morning Glories issues, along with any printing of number 1 and 14, of course. Picked up, this is from one of my favorite series, Revival. This is a Phantom of 9. Close. And another one, there's a Phantom 4. I have to read a new issue, just came out. Along the same vein, Walking Dead 115, All Out War. This is New York Comic Con. This is already starting to jack in price. Great cover. But there are definitely benefits for being loyal to my shop, at least in terms that I can pick these up. I wanted one of the 15 armors, many armors of Iron Man. This is Deadpool 7. This came out in April before the Iron Man 3 movie. There's 15 version. There's a Hulk Buster, Thor Buster, etc., etc. I think this is Freedom, the Freedom suit. But cool, glad to have that. And the Mark Brooks Deadpool Party Cat to Infinity One. Pick that up, and this is 1 in 100 sketch of that. So I'm happy to get those. I didn't pay anything for them. I'm especially happy to get that one. Boom. So I'm going to keep doing that and keep enjoying my variants. And I'm also redoing the stand-up shower, so I'm always back and forth to Lowe's, and the shop is right next to Lowe's. And a few Saturdays ago, I think it was last month, I just stopped in on a whim, and I had a big, honey to-do list full of, I was going to Lowe's. So I popped in, and the shop, and it was pretty busy, and turns out Justin Ponzor was in there signing. I had no idea. And my first thought was to go back and get these, run back to the house and pick those up to get them to sign it, but that wouldn't have went over too well. So, at my disposal, at the time, Infinity 3, 4, and 5. All signed by Mr. Ponzor. So that was cool. I mean, I don't really actively seek signatures, like I said in a few previous videos, but it's nice to have them when it's a surprise. And you're not waiting in line at a convention for an hour. That seems like, I don't know. I just can't get down with that whole practice. But anyway, yeah, variants. All right, back to the haul. You can tell how back or far behind I am. This is, this is me climbing on the hype train. Catwoman 23. And 2 copies of that and a 3rd copy, but you notice this one, or I should say this one, direct sales, newsstand. I'm not so sure about even the whole newsstand craze. It's hard to find any grading or valuation metric that supports the increased price some people are paying for newsstand issues. I'm talking mainly about back issues. Overstreet doesn't really recognize it. CPG and Wizard, I don't think, recognize it. I do know, however, that Mile High Comics will charge you a shit ton more for them. So I don't know if it's an artificial market created, from sellers and buyers that are willing to believe that the newsstand edition, not variant, should command more money. It might be lower print runs, but I don't know. People go out and paying crazy money for newsstand editions. It just doesn't seem like there's enough actual evidence to support why, I should say. Anyway, moving on. I know Omega showed this a while back. Here is the Green Arrow in his first series. 1, 2, Trevor Van Eden, and 4. This has been in my shop for months. No one picked it up, and these came bundled for 15 balloons. So, first appearance of Captain Lash in that issue. So I'm happy to have it. Another hype train I got on. I'm sorry, that glare is destroying me, and I apologize. Is it like a big bay window? Wrong time of day for sure. Nowhere I go. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'll get back to y'all. Yeah, I know. What a crappy video. I'm trying though. It's shaky. But a lot of people's videos, you see static camera setup, and they explain conditions of books, but you can't really even see the conditions of a book. A VG book looks just like their near mint book. I want to be all up in them nooks and crannies. But anyway, to each his own. Maybe I'll get a static setup one day. But yeah, anyway, this is 99 cents. On with the haul. I'm psyched. I'm lit up like a freaking menorah. Girls Love Stories, number 11. Don't know much about it other than Gene Colan did, I think, the first story. Yeah, that's Gene Colan. Tough to find information on this. But I'm collecting DC birthday books, and there's a number of romance books I have to get for that kind of collecting goal, and they're extremely hard to find and very expensive. I don't know if you ever looked at romance books. On eBay, sellers are selling them for 3, sometimes 4 times guide price. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a romance market, or maybe there's a scarcity of books. I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe someone else could, but I will pick these up, especially the DC romance from the Bronze Age. I have that heart here. If you see any of those at a flea market for cheap, dollar bin stuff, get them. All right, Weird Mystery Tales, number 8. Just a killer Luis Dominguez cover. Little anthology series. In great shape. This is part of a bundle I got from High Grade Comics. Here's another Weird War Tales. The Grubbers story. And that's Howard Shakin on the interior. Yeah. And another one. This is Weird War Tales 64. And this is a very low grade copy of this. This is Frank Miller's first work at DC. Another High Grade Comics, part of a bundle. And shout out to Bob Storms of High Grade. It's a great site. I'll put a link to it. You can negotiate price and get on a payment plan for whatever you win. So definitely a cool guy, and his selection is phenomenal. And who was I saying? Some video about slabs. This slab was less, or the price I asked for that he accepted was less than its raw counterpart at a lower grade. So there are plenty of those slabs around, some people don't like buying slabs, but, obviously I got the handcuff and here for $3 or $4. So I can see his art, and it's the first 6 pages. You can definitely tell it's Frank Miller. But there are tons of slabs, excuse me, that you can get for next to nothing. I mean, you can get common slabs for next, it's pretty amazing what you can find. Usually, sometimes for the cost of what the submission would be to CGC. So, I don't know, just a thought. And I found another, just brave and bold, 141 cover story, Joker story, and Joker art. He's a loan shark, and if you don't pay, he blows you up. But this is a nice, in this series, number 141. It's a good one to get. I found a company online that charges less for their fullbacks and halfbacks by $1 for shipping, and they also have a stock of books you can buy. I have the receipt over there. So this was $3.50, and that's it's very fine-ish, and that's at least a $20 book. And he also had, so I got a fullback and 3 issues, Justice League 141, and it's in around a 4.5. First appearance of the Key, if you're going to collect key issues, you got to have the first appearance of the key. It's like he has a piece of toast on his head. But he's an interesting character. He uses psychotropic drugs to convince the Justice League that they're finished. But that's what it guides to, and it was $11. So I don't know what these guys, if they knew what they had, or they just wanted to get rid of their stock. But the pick I like is DC Comics Presents. Let's put everything over here. Number 1. This is Superman and Flash race. Garcia Lopez cover, and this is the 4th race. The previous time they raced, I think it was in was it Brave and the Bold? Or was it just, I don't know, I forget. But Flash won the last race. So they're racing again, and this continues in the next issue. But it's cool. There's a Reverse Flash cameo at the end of this book. But this is this was $6.50. As you can see, it's approaching VF. Soft corner. But that's close to a $50 book there. Definitely cool. I also picked up a Detective 414, and 410. I gotta redo my lighting here. Might want to figure this shit out before you want to do this. Anyway, these are all good Neil Adams books. Nothing really crazy key about them. They're just really nice shape. I gotta fix that light. I'll stop here, but check that out. He did that all with cross hatching, that representation of that sea captain. Pretty cool. And this is the first appearance of Ed Flippy Deacon, who has flippers for arms. Yeah, that's not working, is it? All right. Pause. All right. Back to it. Recently saw the Thor movie with Malekith. Some books you might want to look out for. I showed this a while ago, but this is 102, the first appearance of an introduction to Sif. I played the Sif. And obviously that needs to be upgraded, but another book that you might be interested in is this one. Excuse me. Journey into Mystery 119. And I love that cover. This is interesting in many ways. And obviously this is like a mid-grader. It could be a 4.5, perhaps. But you're not stealth buying either one of these. You have to pay to play. This is the second appearance of the Destroyer. And this book contains the first appearance of the Warriors 3. Volstagg, what's that? Hogun. Fuck. The other guy. I forget his name. And it's also interesting, excuse me, each one of these is a panel from inside the book, so, and they're by 4 different artists. So that's Kirby, I believe that's Vince Colletta, Sam Rosen, and Stan Goldberg, or Goldberg and Sam Rosen. Vice versa, but I'm pretty sure that one's Kirby. So it's interesting in that respect. And it's in that shit brown Marvel used in their Silver Age and some Bronze Age. You see with like Werewolf by Night. I just love that tone. They would never use that in a modern day book. So interesting, cool first appearance in that one.
Finally got him an Armanzola 208, another high grade pickup, and another copy of 217. This book's all over the place and it is blowing up. I finally got a Mutant Massacre book, 213, Wolverine Sabretooth. Finally picked up my Incredible Hulk number 5, annual I should say, second appearance of Groot, even though he's in a mechanized form within the story. Blip, Diablo, Taboo, Goom, and Titan, Marvel feature number 2 or 3, he's in there. And because it's me, gotta have some Tales to Astonish. This is an early leader appearance, 64, first appearance of 62. And his humanoids, and a Tuma appearance. Decent copy, and I'll buy these things in shit copy all day long. I don't care, but definitely mid grade there. And then a fine copy of 101, the last issue in the series. Everything was looking good, and I should have paid attention to the scans, but you can see ding there. But other than that, it's in a fine range. Very happy. And there's Hogun, one of the Warriors 3, Odin. What's the other? Oh yeah, it's the first appearance of Paul Destiny. And other story. And here's the title I've been ignoring a lot, and I need to get with it. Tales of Suspense. The shop has a number of these in the case in the front. First appearance of the Sleeper, just a real rudimentary looking robot. Red Skull had planted to erupt 20 years after the end of the war. The Sleepers. And the first Iron Man story is awesome because it has a story of the awesome android, Awesome Andy, and the Mad Thinker. So I'm definitely on the lookout for Fantastic Four 14. Right. Gil Kane Love, Marvel Team Up number 4. Fourth appearance of Morbius. And a nice copy, a little miswrapped, but blacks are black, no color breaking. Another Bob Storm purchase. High Grade Comics. I'll leave a link. Did I say that already? And that could go along. Now I have 3 and 4. So I'm stoked for that. Some Spidey, huh? Yeah, huh? 167. First appearance of Will-O the Wisp. And in incredible condition. There he is. And 71. Spider-Man. Quicksilver. This is one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man covers. And this one happens to be, well, it's great. It's a Toggy Farm pedigree, except the Mensa that filled out the COA had his titles mixed up. So, whatevs. And lastly, I finally picked up 122. 122 and 121, when I was first collecting. Shout out John Bermuda Jr., 244. These books, 121 and 122, were more sought after, at least for me, than even earlier issues. There's something about them. The death of Gwen Stacy, death of Green Goblin were just, man, you salivated over those things, and I finally have one. And this book came signed on the splash page by Gil Kane, so I don't know, there's no COA with it, but it looks like it could be easily reproducible, but whatever. I will deal with it. This is supposed to be a very fine plus, and it may not be. It might be approaching very fine, but I'll take the signature, I guess, for a grade lower than advertised, and the price I offered was lower than the 8.5 equivalent, so I'm happy. Cool. Hey guys, thanks for bearing with me here. As you can tell, there's a reason I don't make a lot of videos, is because I'm extremely shitty at it. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. And I know this is brutal, but we're gonna get through it. Anyway, I wanted to, I kind of tried to look for something, or a title, or maybe it's just my whim at the time, was that I just wanted to look for something else I haven't really seen very much of, or everyone, it wasn't part of some like movie release and everyone had to have it, or you know, there's a TV show coming out, so we got to get some weird independent book. I just wanted to find a solid title that was, you know, had a lot of collectability within its individual issues. And I remember these from when I was a kid. Sergeant Rocks, I had plenty of those. A few of these. What's that other one? Our Army at War, etc., etc. So through doing some research about weird war tales, I came across this particular series, GI Combat, and within this series, I became extremely interested in picking it up, in that there are a number of great artists, there are a number of great characters, or items within the series. A lot of, you know, for example, issue 68 is the first Sergeant Rock prototype. They're the first Easy Company stories, and it starts with issue 44. And in terms of the artwork, there are things called gray tone or wash tone covers that start in issue 75, even though they're sporadically mixed earlier than that. They're also very collectible. And along with that tank there, that's known as a haunted tank. And it's a very interesting situation where the tank is commanded by Jeb Stuart, who takes his orders from a Civil War general in the clouds, a ghost, a representation of this guy, J.E.B. Stuart. So the whole time he's seemingly talking to the clouds, and his entire crew just thinks he's nuts. They're fun reads and extremely valuable. The key issues, at least, and even some of the non-key issues. It's just a really solid series to get some of the major components to. And I just wanted to get, I don't know, quote unquote, let's call it a starter pack. I put a lot of spread bids and some of the issues I wanted, didn't win hardly any of them, but I did get a few, and there was a few I had to spend a little more for, but I wanted nevertheless. This is obviously a butt wiper, but it's something I put a spread bid on. Joe Kubert did a lot of artwork on the covers and the interiors in this series, but no offense to Mr. Kubert, the late great, but there are other artists within the series that I would rather see. This is the first introduction to the losers. Definite reader copy. And there's a reference to the Haunted Tank story. Let's see, what else? Here's another Joe Kubert. This is 132. A little better shape. Oh, excuse me. One of the other contributors and actually helped launch the series is Russ Heath, who does amazing stuff. This is 123. Again, not that great a shape, but like I said, I was just trying to get a few issues under my belt. He does some really incredible covers. And here is one. This is 104, one of the earlier Haunted Tank issues, and it also showcases the wash tone or gray tone cover. And you can see Jeb stored inside of the tank there. Here we see the gray tone effect. These gray tone covers are a real collectible. Obviously not a high grade, excuse me, but a great cover nevertheless. Early Haunted Tank. And another, I'm sorry, Russ Heath cover. Here is 83. This issue and cover, this is one of the ones you might want to look at if you get interested in this series. Obviously it's in, you know, mid-grade, 4.5 maybe, 4. But it is an amazing Jerry Grandinetti gray tone or wash tone cover. Look at the representation of sweat. These are beautiful. I love that cover. And yeah, Grandinetti did a really sought after gray tone covers. And this issue, particular issue, is the first appearance of Big Al, Little Al, and Charlie Cigar in Too Tired to Sleep story. Ross Andrew also has interior artwork as well. But yeah, that's what I was saying. I'd rather have Grandinetti's and Heath covers than Kubert covers. But there is one Kubert cover I did get. If this is a classic Kubert, this is 88, I'm sorry, 87. 87 is the first appearance of the Haunted Tank. This is the second. And you can see there's some significant creasing, but just a killer cover. And again, wash tone, gray tone effect. You see in the rocks there, and in the helmet, and the kraut. Yeah, but this book, you know, a few grades up from this. This is what I have is a 4.5. You get up in the 5.5 range. You know, you're talking $400 or $500 for this. They get extremely expensive very fast, especially 87, which is almost beyond belief expensive, and 68, which is the first prototype of Sergeant Rock, which is almost impossible to find. And in the 50s range is the first Easy Company stories. So yeah, there's a lot of plus or positive aspects of this title as a collector, to me at least. So this is my foray into it, I should say, and I'll be looking out for some more of these. A few videos back, I got a book about, well, that was referenced in Seduction of the Innocent. As it turns out, in the mid-50s, that wasn't the only type of manifesto or piece of literature that was noticeably anti-comic. Here's the other one, Parade of Pleasure, by Jeffrey Wagner. And you see Johnny Squarepants there at the old newsstand with Joe Palooka books. And can you imagine? And this is written by an Englishman, a noticeably English in his affect. And when you read some of the passages, you can almost see or hear an English accent. But it is much more lighthearted and in terms of its derision of the genre, rather than this guy was out for blood and because he was under the delusion that it was affecting the youth. This guy's just kind of making social commentary, not only of comics, but of movies. Robert Mitchum. He talks about pin-ups. These are fetish cereals. But anyway, I won't bore you with the minutia of this book, but I want to show you, here we go, Comics, The Curse of the Kids. The marijuana of the nursery. But this is just interesting historical, reference. Here he's talking about Tilly the Toiler and Canteen Kate. He is not very happy to see any type of dominant female figure or character that doesn't have any place in society. He really doesn't like it because he keeps going on about it. But he talks about war comics, obviously, and the crime comics. But here's I'd seen this before, and Hans just brought it up recently. This is Crime Does Not Pay. I think it's also in Sodi. 24. This is showing the guy with the ghost of crime over his shoulder. He's pushing her head into the burner of the range. You can't get away. You wouldn't see that today, much less back in wherever this came out, 1942. Wow. And he goes on. He goes on from the crime, and then into into obviously the EC books, Weird Science. Check this out. Ineptly rendered by Wallace Wood. Weird Science number 17, mentioned above as one of the most inordinately loathsome covers I have encountered on any comic book. Owing to the ineptitude of drawing, it's difficult to distinguish exactly what it's meant to be, but in general it seems to depict an oozing, pus-ridden monster, a mixture of octopus, ape, and giant ray, squeezing to death a beautiful, agonized girl. But, I mean, you have to imagine, this book had only been out for less than a year. So, the pantheon of great comic artists and contributors had not yet been established as it is today. So, I'll give him a pass that he didn't realize that Wally Wood would be such a prized figure, I should say. And the cover actually is really cool, as far as I'm concerned. I like it. It's pretty fucking awesome, actually. And this is my first DC, I'm super stoked to have it. BG Plus, thereabouts. And it's almost when I open it up, it's like more. It just felt different, like you were holding on to a piece of history, which shouldn't have been any different than any of the Spider-Man or GI Combat books. It's something different about these things, and when you read them, it's almost like you have to get out of your Ford Bronco and lock the hubs, and just take it in just a little bit slower than you would, let's say, opening up a revival book or a saga book. You just got to really take it slow. That's all I'm going to say. At least I do, to really enjoy it and get a real appreciation. But I think Wally Wood did a fantastic job, and his art is so unique in that first story. It's something you got to see. Get a reprint or get the book. But yeah, very excited. Can't wait to get a hold of more of these things. All right, on to the comic book lottery. I can't thank Daken Howlett enough for, first of all, doing this again and taking the time and effort to do what he's done in terms of helping me out. And a big round of applause for me, at least, for holding the contest. To anyone that doesn't know him, Daken Howlett, Chris, he is top water. He is a very generous heart. Just goes above and beyond to try to make you happy, and is just a really cool guy. And thank you very much for not only holding the contest, but obviously picking my name last. And I think Tom Hippie was the only one that may have had more entries than I did. Because, I was kind of pissed. It's supposed to be a comic book community lotto, and, it was a few months in, and he only had 50 some dollars. I'm thinking, that doesn't seem right. Like, people should have been juicing that pot up to, let's get the bar raised a little bit, and so someone can get something significant. That's how I looked at it. I put 5 or 6 entries in, but I even told him, I said, I wasn't expecting to win. I just wanted whoever did win to be able to get something. I mean, at least you should have it $100, right? I mean, let's face it. So, and thank you very much to the great legend, RDowdy, 95, RDowdy. He contributed massive effort to get people entered into this contest. Hats off to you, my man. Thank you very much for your continued support of the contest. And I will do my best to follow in your footsteps and provide other people's entry into the next year's contest, if it's held. Actually, Gimpy, you've already won a contest entry because I'm not going to do a contest, and so you commented first on one of my older videos, and thank you, sir. You will have an entry as long as Chris says it's cool. I'll put you in this weekend. And of course, he sent my winnings with a little alien Daken, and with a space diaper, with a space baby, throwing a space diaper out into the space. But actually, I got that name. I don't know. I was goofing, really. I was watching Saturday Night Live a few years back, and one of the funniest skits I ever had seen I was just cracking up. They were making fun of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt and all their different babies that they adopt. And at one point, she goes, "Yeah, our next baby we're going to adopt from space. We're going to adopt a space baby." And so I don't know. Just I was thinking about a name, and it just popped in my head, that skit. I don't know why, but there you go. Anyway, so what'd I get? Well, or what did we buy together, I should say. My first indication or inclination was to get an older book, and because I like back issues and the nostalgia part of it, collecting the piece of history. That's one of the main reasons I do this, or try to build a collection that is also contains valuable items. I have a passion for that, and one of the books I've always wanted is Blue Bolt 112. It's my favorite cover. I don't currently have any L.B. Cole covers, and it's high on my priority list. It's just really hard to find them in grade you want. So, that being said, and how I love older books. This is exactly why we decided to get. One second. Wow, you are prepared like a. Saga 1. 9.8. Now, interestingly enough, we had got our first one and it came cracked. And by the time he went to go get another one, Chris did it. It already jumped in price. And so, once again, he covered some more than he should have. And he wouldn't let me help pay. But just, once again, that's why he's so cool. Why? Because it's currently my favorite series, or one of them. I didn't believe the hype. Didn't seem all interesting to me at first until I picked up an Image First copy and read it, and I was a believer right then and there. And at that time, number 1 was gone, I mean, you couldn't find it except on eBay, and time came and went, and before you knew it, even raw, it was approaching $80, $90, and at that time I was buying older stuff. So I was just thinking, if I have, you know, a little bit of house money, that this would be what I picked up. And Chris was cool enough to throw in another copy of Image First. But yeah, and I mean, even, you know, Nick, ETA Nick recently said, you know, an interesting theory about the rule of 25. I don't see this series going away or falling off the consciousness of the comic book industry anytime soon. And in fact, it will probably only blow up even more. And in fact, since he delivered the book, I've been sitting on it along with the other crap I've shown for a few months, and it's tough to find this particular slab for under $200, and 3-4 months ago it was at $150. So rule of 25 might apply to this. This might be, you know, who knows? I mean, who wouldn't like to have Walking Dead #1 in their collection right now? Graded slab 9.8. I know I would. And I'm not saying this will get to that level, but it most certainly is on its way. And very excited. Great piece to add to the collection. And once again, thank you, Chris. You are a gem of an individual. And thanks everyone for entering. Hippie, Hitman Von Doom, I should say. Rorschach's Journal, Comic Book Mom. She had a lot of entries. I think Bursnot was in there. Clint was in there. Schmo got in, I think. Schmo was in there. Gimpy. But, yeah, Greco and DeCosta, I think, might have been. But anyway, thanks to everyone that entered. I'm very happy that you'd have. And I will most definitely be throwing some YouTubers into the next one. So, yeah, once again, thanks, Chris. Thanks for RDowdy and everyone else. Awesome contest. And yet, you know what? Next year, seriously, we all have our own individual styles. Mine is long, rambling, shaky-ass videos. Other people would like to collect keys and show them off in a very professional manner. Other people like to talk about content and story arcs, artists, you know, but we're all on the same mountain, mining the same vein of ore. So next year, let's try to get a little more money into that pot. I think we should all be entering that contest. So one of us of a collection of members can win regardless of our collecting tastes. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a happy holiday and Santa treats you right. I'm out.